Hello, Year 3. I hope you are all well and ready to continue to find out what happens to Shirley in Chapter 2 of Wave Me Goodbye. Before we start, I do just want to apologise because I know it's taken me a really long time to get this chapter out to you, but it is here now. The last video I did the whole chapter in one video, and it was a really long video, so thank you to all of you that listened to me. I will do this one in 2 parts, so it's a little bit shorter for you. And of course, as it's the new chapter, we have new illustrations, so I'll show you them first, although you have seen them already because they will be part of your Rick activity, but I'll show you them again. So, okay, and we will get started with Chapter 2. The bus did take ages. It crawled along, stuck in thick traffic. So when we got near the station, Mum made us get out and walk. "Come on now, Shirley, don't dawdle like that. We haven't got all day," she said. "I'm coming." I stumbled along with the suitcase banging against my knees. My right arm felt as if it was stretching like plasticine, and by the time I got to the end of the road, it felt as if my burning hand were brushing the pavement. "Dear goodness, don't be such a weakling," said Mum. "You've hardly got anything in that case. Here, give it me, but you'll have to manage it yourself when you get off the train." "No, I'm fine, Mum, really," I panted. Mum sniffed and seized the suitcase. "Dear God, what have you got in here?" "It weighs a ton." "You told me to put my coat in," I said. "This feels as if it's got 50 coats in." Mum put the case down on the pavement and snapped it open. I wished I'd hidden all my books under my clothes. "I can't believe it," she exclaimed. "You naughty, naughty girl. 3 books, I said, and you're only meant to be taking 1. Oh, Shirley, why do you always let me down?" "I want them all," I said. "I need them, Mum." "Well, look, we haven't got time to stand here arguing." Mum snapped the suitcase shut and picked it up again with a groan. "You'll have to get one of the lady helpers to carry it for you when you get there." "Where's there?" I asked as we ran towards the station. I felt hemmed in by all the big grey buildings, and it was scary when we had to dodge the cars to cross the road. "I don't exactly know where they're sending you," said Mum. "They won't say. Security, I suppose. So when you get wherever it is, you must write the address on a postcard and send it off to me. I've tucked one in your gas mask, already stamped, and a pencil. There's a £0.50 too. Just don't spend it all on sweets. It's for emergencies only. Keep it safely hidden." She patted the box hanging over my shoulder. I hated my gas mask. We had to practice putting them on at school, and suddenly everyone turned into hideous monkey aliens, even me. "Promise you'll send the postcard as soon as possible." "I'll be worrying about you," said Mum. "And make sure you go to a really, really good family. Keep nice and clean on the journey and tie your hair ribbon if it comes loose. I want them to see you come from a decent home. We're not Cockney riffraff." There was a whole stream of mothers and children making for Victoria Station. It was like a vast stone palace, and so noisy, absolutely crammed with children. There were big kids, little kids, fat kids, thin kids, every kind of kid. Some laughing and larking about, some bawling their eyes out. There were scruffy kids with grubby faces, girls in skimpy summer dresses with their vest sleeves showing, and boys in jerseys with scabby knees. There were posh girls in purple school uniforms with straw boaters standing 2 by 2 in line like the animals from Noah's Ark, shivered into place by 4 nuns like flapping penguins. An announcement suddenly boomed out on the station's loudspeaker. "Hello, everyone. Listen carefully." "Oh, my lord," Mum murmured. "It's like the home service on the wireless." The unseen speaker told us all to go and line up with our schools. Mothers were to say goodbye to their children and not to go on the platforms. Stuff that for a game of soldiers, said Mum, taking hold of my hand. I'm putting you on the train myself and making sure you get a good seat next to someone decent. Which train will it be, Mum? I asked, because there were big steam engines at each platform. See all those bossy-looking women in green uniforms holding lists? They'll know, said Mum. Are they in the army like Dad? No, you soppy date. They're women's voluntary service, and they all think the world of themselves. Mum elbowed her way through the great crowd, using my heavy case rather like a battering ram. I scuttled along in her wake. Excuse me, could you tell me where the Paradise Road children are lining up? She asked the nearest green uniform. Yes, Mother, over on platform 8, the woman replied. Mother? Mum hissed to me as we made for the right platform. I'm not her mother. Who do they think they are? We found platform 8, and I recognised a few of the children in the long straggling line. Oh no, Marilyn Henderson, tossing her ringlets and showing off. She was wearing a new yellow dress and a fluffy white bolero made of rabbit fur. I'd always ached to have a bolero like that. Are these Paradise Road children? Mum asked me. I think so, I muttered. Good Lord, what a rowdy bunch. Are you sure? That's Marilyn Henderson over there, I said. You know, I told you, the girl who pushed me over. The one in yellow? Well, she looks a right little madam. Pretty hair, though, said Mum. I don't want to sit next to her, I said. You're not going to, don't worry. There was another woman in green uniform standing at the entrance to platform 8, holding a clipboard with a great long list. This is Shirley Louise Smith, Mum told her. Paradise Road, said the woman, barely looking up. Yep, here we are. You'll be sitting in one of the carriages towards the end of the train, Shirley. I'm afraid you're all going to be packed like sardines. We're putting the St Agatha's convent girls up front. She glanced at the orderly parade of purple uniforms marching 2 by 2 to platform 8. Mum looked at them too. Then she peered at the Paradise Road pupils. The children were herring about in all directions, some of the boys bashing each other with their suitcases. Can't my Shirley sit up at the front with the convent girls? She asked. No, not if she's Paradise Road, said the WVS woman, frowning. Now, say goodbye to Mother, Shirley, and go and join the others. She looked at Mum. Best not to prolong things. You'll only upset her. Don't worry, she'll be fine. She turned away to deal with 2 children who were crying because they couldn't find the right platform. Don't worry, said Mum. It's chaos in here. I'm not going till I see you're all right, Pet. She only ever called me Pet when she was really fond of me, like the time I came home from my old school with a gold star. I hung on to her. Turn around so she can't see, Mum said. I did as I was told, and quick as a wink, she tore the bottom half off my label, the part that said Paradise Road Junior School. There now, you can join up with the convent girls. They look like little ladies, said Mum. I'll come down the platform and make sure you get a good seat with them. Will it be a long journey? What if I feel sick? I asked. I'd nearly disgraced myself on the coach trip to the seaside. You won't feel sick on a train, though perhaps you shouldn't risk reading just in case. Mum approached the clipboard lady again. She had dispatched the weeping children elsewhere, and she sighed when she saw that it was Mum and me again. Haven't you said your goodbyes yet? She asked, though the answer was obvious. I know you're not allowed to say where the kiddies are going, but could you give me some idea of the length of the journey, please? Oh, Lordy, haven't a clue, she said. I'm not going with them. I have to wait for the next batch at 11. But what about their dinner? Will they be served something to eat on the train? Mum persisted. You're not expecting silver service in the first-class carriage, are you? You should have packed us some sandwiches and a flask, said the WVS lady, and then turned away to deal with a bunch of children pretending to be trains, chewing up and down, barging into everyone. I'm not having you going hungry, said Mum. Wait there, Shirley. Sit on your suitcase and I'll be back in 2 ticks. No, Mum, don't go, I said. But she'd already started running in the other direction. I started staggering after her, hauling my case. Hey you, Shirley, is it? Wait there, you can't go with your mummy. You'll be getting on the train in a minute, said the lady, and she took the case from me. Good Lord, what have you got in here? Bricks? It was supposed to be one light case with a change of clothing and a toothbrush. Now sit on that case and be a good girl. How old are you? 10. Well then, that's much too old to be a crybaby, she said. I'm not crying. I've got dirt in my eye, I muttered. I sat on the case and bent my head so that she couldn't see my wet cheeks. Mum, 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 come back, I whispered. I sat there in torment while children shrieked and adults shouted and trains hissed all around me. Any minute now we'd be herded together and put on board, and I wouldn't even have a chance to say goodbye to Mum. At least I'd been able to hug Dad and tell him I loved him and beg him to keep safe. Afterwards he'd called me his little sweetheart and popped a chocolate toffee in my mouth. And although it was still desperately sad saying goodbye, at least we'd done it properly. I wanted Timmy Ted badly, but I didn't dare get him out in case the other children saw and laughed at me for being a baby. And if bossy clipboard lady spotted all my books, I wouldn't put it past her to throw them all in the nearest bin. I waited with my chin on my chest so no one could see. So no one could see the tears dripping down my cheeks and then dribbling inside the neck of my jumper. Then the train let out 3 toots and a whole team of ladies sprang into action. Some wore the Women's Voluntary Services uniform, and some were vaguely familiar teachers from my school. I couldn't see my own teacher, Miss Grimes, a little woman with untidy grey hair and a whispery voice. I didn't really like her, but I felt sorry for her because my classmates mucked around in her lessons. Come along, boys and girls, look nippy, shouted the biggest lady in green uniform. Say a quick goodbye to any mothers still here, and then walk nicely along the platform. No pushing, no shoving, and no glum faces. Tell you what, let's have a little sing-song. Who knows the Lambeth Walk? Any time you're Lambeth way, any evening, any day, you'll find us all doing the Lambeth Walk. Oi! She sang it loudly, marching along, and when she did the oi at the end, she stuck her thumb in the air. The children started singing the song, linking arms and strutting along, some even forgetting to say goodbye to their mothers as they headed down the platform. A couple of St Agatha's girls linked arms and started singing too, but the nuns frowned at them and pulled them apart, clearly thinking it too vulgar a song for convent girls. Come on, little girl on the big suitcase, up you get, someone shouted at me. I sat where I was, going, Mum, 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 inside my head. And we will pause there for this clip and then I will do the second one for you. So go and head over to part 2 now. Hope you enjoyed it, everyone. Bye.